Sup guys, Gamer Bros TV here, I'm Mock, and today we're going to be doing a new series called Off the Dome. Off the Dome is basically my advice on things in video games, how to do tips and tricks, things like that, and it's all going to be off the top of my head, off the dome. I have no notes here, nothing on my desk, nothing on my computer screens, for you can believe me. But anyways, how to jungle. How do you jungle in low elo? How do you win jungling? Jungling is one of the most important roles in League of Legends, in my own opinion. There's so many things, so many factors that applies. When do you gank here? When do you gank there? Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Why didn't you take the race when you backed? Why did you take the race when you backed? Things like that. So let's just dive right into it. Low elo jungling. How every jungler starts, what gets every jungle rolling, is the champion you pick. This influences greatly. If you're jungling Poppy every game and you're stuck in Bronze 4, I wonder why. Just ask yourself this: why am I not moving up? Why am I going down? Why am I just winning one, losing one? Why aren't I just going ham like other people? Like challengers who smurf on a second account, they get from bronze to challenger in weeks, literally, like 2 or 3 weeks, 2 patches. Whereas you and I, we're just slowly climbing the charts, or maybe we're going down, or maybe we're just staying the same. Why is this? Most people blame their teammates. Heck, I blame my teammates. I mean, it's just something we all have to do. It's mandatory. But it's not always your teammates. What made me go from bronze to gold, from bronze to plat, from bronze to silver, was realizing my own mistakes, realizing that in all those games where I blamed my teammates, I could have done something different that might not affect the game, but could affect me overall. Little things that I noticed in myself. I did this by watching replays, I did this by watching streamers and seeing what they do, and putting it into my own kit for myself to be able to carry. Not everybody can do this. Not everybody has the means and capabilities to do it doing this. So I'm going to try and help you from my perspective. Now, in low elo, there is no really... Well, in solo queue in general, there's no team composition. You don't exactly go Mumu, Malphite, Orianna, Sivir, Leona. It rarely happens, and even if it does, everyone has their own mindset and has their own ways of doing things. So yeah, point short, you have to carry your games. In order to do that, you got to pick the right champion. So what champion should you pick? Right now the meta is a more assassin type meta, more kill people, jump out, jump back in. I'm not telling you to play a Master Yi Teleport Smite. I'm telling you to play something that you like. Now, the thing about me as a jungler, I like certain champions and I carried with those. For example, in low elo, I love Xin Zhao because he has so much burst damage, and if you get fed enough, your whole combo, your whole kit can just completely wipe someone out instantly. That's why I like Xin Zhao. I do like Teleport Smite Master Yi because he's hella fun, but I wouldn't recommend that for you. What I would recommend for you is playing meta champions, or playing people who are assassins, people who dish out a lot of damage in a small amount of time and gives you an easy escape. Champions like Kha'Zix, Evelynn, J4, champions like that. Kha'Zix, I personally love in low elo just because of the damage he does. You can practically outplay anyone. Evelynn, her invisibility, if you play it right, you can gank any lane and they would never know that you're there. J4, he has strong utility and can dish out a lot of damage if you get fed. And even if you don't get fed, he can still dish out a lot of damage. So those are the champions I will play, but I want to play the champions you love, but to a degree. You don't want, like I said, play Poppy jungle every single game. Trust me, Poppy jungle isn't amazing. I mean, it's good, Don't get me wrong, Poppy Jungle can do some deeps if you know what you're doing. Don't main her. The second thing off the dome I want to talk about is what buff you starting. Now in solo queue, a top laner never wants to come down to your blue, come down to your red, and leash it for you, unless you're a specific champion that's good for that, and you will only know if you want to start a top lane leash if you're confident in the champion that you're playing. Now if you're not, I wouldn't do that. But anyways, why don't you want your top laner to leash you? Why don't you want to start blue every game? Because your top lane is usually a 1v1 matchup. At least 99% of the time it's a 1v1 matchup, and him just coming down and leashing for you could make him lose that first CS, which is experience and gold, that the enemy laner already has an advantage there. That's a no-no. Usually in 1v1 matches, you don't want the 1v1, you don't want to ever leash the jungler. I know when I was top for a while, I hated leashing the jungler. In fact, I would sometimes ignore them. I'll be honest. You never see mid laners leash if they know what they're doing. No offense against people who leash their junglers. I play rank 5s. You can't say, oh, he's my duo. Nah, I play rank 5s. I barely get any leashes anyways. It's a 1v1 matchup. You want your mid laner to usually win because he can roam. But anyways, you want to start with your bot lane. Not only will you get a strong leash, you would also get early time in the jungle. Like you got that extra 2 seconds to be top lane before the enemy jungler, to be going faster in your jungle, things like that. That's another example. Now, there's different types of junglers. There's people like Shaco who clears his red in like 3 seconds. Usually want to either, if you're smart, I don't want to say if you're smart, if you know how to play your champion, you'll go to another buff, take that, then go to your buff and have a third buff advantage over your enemy. But usually your path should be from whatever is at your bot lane to a Wraith or Wolf. I usually do whatever is closest to my second buff, just in case they're trying to invade, and then going to your third buff, taking that. Now, a lot of people usually just go top. It depends on your champion. People like Amumu, with his rolling long Q, can usually gank top pretty effectively. However, people like Amumu also have an extremely amazing ult that if you farm your jungler really fast and you do ganks properly and you actually get things out of them, your 6 is going to be so advantageous to have it over your opponent. Another thing when it comes to jungling, off the dome, it's hard because it's off the dome. Another thing you want to do is itemization. When it comes to the jungler you're playing, things like that, you got to know what to build. A lot of people usually just go into Lizard. Heck, I do this. But when I jungle tanky people like Maokai, I usually always go Ancient Golem. Evelyn, I actually get Lizard, like everybody else. But Diana jungle, that's fun. Don't play it in low elo if you don't know what you're doing. It's fun to get the AP jungle item, Wraith. Yeah, Wraith off the dome. I can't edit this because it's off the dome. I suck at this so much. But so we talked about champions, we talked about automation, we talked about ganking paths. What else do you need to know as a jungler? You need to know your laners. You need to know who is your laners, if you know what I mean. What does Ryze against a Rengar matchup top lane do? Will Rengar push? Will Ryze push? Should Ryze be able to kill Rengar at level 2, or should it just go on pre-6? Mid lane, does Cassiopeia beat Anivia? Bot lane, does this set of champions beat this set of champions? Is this so? Should I gank it or not? A lot of things, what really a jungler should have is game knowledge. You should be able to know matchups, you should be able to know champion abilities. So when I started playing League, I played nothing but normals. But don't get me wrong, as soon as I got into ranked, I did my 5 provisionals, went like 2-8, and got bronze 5, like every other person in the world, without a sweater. But just, I played the game so much, and you might not have that, but I played the game so much, and I never manned a role back then. I just kind of played whatever I filled, except support. I hated support like everyone else, but I played all the roles. I got to know the champions, and as the game progressed, patches happened, a new season came out, you get hyped. I got better at the game. I learned these various champions, I learned these various roles. I'm not saying I'm a jack of all trades, but I am definitely a king of one, and that's jungling. But anyways, learning who you're playing against, who you're playing with, and what happens when this happens, like addition, multiplication, division, subtraction, what happens if you die and lose the game because Mundo fed top lane. Anyways, knowing all this stuff really contributes to your gameplay as a jungler. So yeah, it has been 11 minutes of unedited goodness. So now let's get to the edit part. This is part 1 of the series. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I certainly didn't. No, I'm kidding. I did. I really enjoyed myself. I like talking to you guys, like communicating, like making guys. I just hope it was relevant enough for you. I hope I didn't bore you. If you would like to see more of this, please put it in the comment section below. If you have any advice for me, I would love that too. You guys definitely tell me when I go wrong with something, when I do right with something. So yeah, thank you so much. And as always, love me. Subscribe. Kawaii!